Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm your host, Glenn Mead, with Outdoor Adventures with the Meads. Today, as you can see in the title, we're going to be doing an oil change, a few other filters change out, and do some other little maintenance that I'll run by you from front to back. And if we have time, I'll go over the pros and cons of owning this tractor for 50 hours. Stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing you need to do before doing any maintenance on the tractor is get all your stuff together that you're going to need. Obviously, we're doing oil and filter changes, so the first thing you're going to need is all your filters for the job, some oil, and the hydraulic fluid that, if we need to top it off, that's what I'm going with. It is, if you read the fine print, it does say mobile fluid 424, which is recommended by Kioti. This is just another name for it. Got it at Tractor Supply. So also got the engine oil from Tractor Supply. And the other thing you're going to need is some funnels, a really good oil filter wrench, because from the factory these filters are on tight. And speaking of filters, my dealership gave me the wrong fuel filter. Now, you don't need this one for the 50 hours, but they highly recommended doing it. And of course, they sold me the wrong one because it was for the previous model. I have a tier 5 tractor which has a clear bottom, so if that's the one you have, make sure they get you the right filter so you don't act like me and drive an extra hour to go get the right filter. Next thing you're going to need is a set of sockets, a torque wrench, because we got to torque down the wheels again. The loader arm bracket is something you want to do every 20 hours, 25 hours. We're at 50 hours, so I'm going to get it all done out of the way. So, and last but not least, you're going to want your owner's manual. This is going to tell you how much oil you need, the torque specs for the wheels, and the loader. So the next step is to get the fluid out of the tractor. Alrighty, welcome underneath the tractor, everybody. As you can see on the Kioti, they're special. They have 2 drain plugs, so you want to make sure that your catch can is underneath those. And you're going to need a 17mm wrench or socket to get these off. And they're on pretty tight, as you can see. Okay, got them loose. Start with the far one, which is the close one on your side. That's one. And that's 2. I'm not going to bore you with this, so we're going to skip to the end. I'll catch you when it's done dripping. Alright, everybody, we're back, and it's just a drip, so at this point we can go ahead and put these plugs right back in. Some people say wait 5 hours for every last drip to come out, but truth be told, you could have these plugs out for like a month and they'd still be dripping because there's oil on the whole motor and it's slowly going to creep down into these holes. So, that being said, what I'm going to do is snug these up. Now we're done with step 1. On the next step. Alright, so our next step here is to change the oil filter. That's this guy right here. And all you have to do is get your wrench, make sure you're going the right way when you put this on. loosen it up. Now you'll notice that these filters are going to come off awful easy. That's because I already pre-loosened them right before I made this video to make it a little easier for you guys and make sure I wasn't making a mistake. But anyway, make sure you got your catch can below it. And just unscrew. And there it is, the old one. Okay, this next step is for any vehicle out there. When you put an oil filter back on, what you want to do is dip your finger in the oil and rub it along the seal. This not only makes a better seal, but also makes it easier to come off later. So we're just going to give this a quick wipe in the area underneath. Screw it back on. Now what's always been told to me is wait for it to just stop. Right about there. You want to go 3/4 of a turn. You got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And that's it. You want no tighter than that. It's got a perfect seal and it'll be a lot easier to get off next time you do the oil change. So from there, we'll actually put the oil in. And to check the oil, the dipstick is right here. And to fill it, it's hard to see, but it's that guy right in there. So I'm going to move a couple wires, get that plug off, get the funnel in there, and we'll be back. Okay, so what I decided to do, since I'm going to be changing the fuel filter anyway, I'm going to get out of the way so it'll make it easier to put the oil back in. So just like any other filter, all I gotta do is unscrew it, and what I've been told, not much fuel is going to come out of this. Still got the drip pan underneath us. Yeah, I can tell you already there's hardly any going to come out. So there we go. And so we got the catch can right below us, so get this filter out of the way. We'll get the oil changed, and then we'll come back to the filter. Alright folks, I'm finally back. I think I finally got all the oil in the motor that I needed. And it just took forever, so I didn't want to bore you with all that lane. But show you what we got here. And you're probably not going to see it, but take my word for it. The second point here, that's where the high oil level, and it's just above that, which is okay because don't forget we changed out the oil filter, and that's going to take up some of the oil. So it's also a good idea once you get the motor back to running, get it warmed up, and then check it again, make sure you have enough oil in the machine. So our next step, take the funnel out. And take our cap, wipe it off, throw it back on. Like I said, all this stuff just finger tight. If I can get the threads to start. There it goes. And that's it. That's all for the oil change. Alright everybody, so this is the fuel filter that comes on my tractor. It's the tier 5 section. This is the filter itself. It's got the side that goes to the tractor, and it's got the bottom side that you're supposed to take the clear cap off, which is this part. And if it fills up with water, I'm assuming the sensor is going to tell you, hey, I got too much water in here, empty me out. But ideally you're supposed to be able to take this off really easily, dump the contamination out of it, and then thread it back on. For me, I don't recommend anybody doing this, but for me, I actually put this in the vise, and I don't recommend that because this is a piece of plastic and it does not come with the filter. So if you break this, you're gonna have to go to the dealer to get a new one. But I just took a couple rags, stuck it in the vise, and finally got it free. And when it came off, I can see in there, but the rubber actually made it in this groove, and that is not where it wants to be. You can see, like, if I can turn this just right, and you put my hand behind it, you can see that the rubber is away from the lip here, and what you want to do is make sure that this is against that lip all the way around. It'll snap into place, and all you gotta do, take your filter, screw it on. One of your threads are square and snug. That's it. Let's go to the tractor and put it on. Alright, so back at the tractor now, we got our oil change done. Just make sure you get your finger wet with diesel fuel. You want to wet that seal up just a little bit. That way you have a nice proper seal, and it'll be easier to take off next time. All you're gonna do is take it in, put it in here, make sure she's nice and straight. Make sure the threads are started. And same thing here. You want to get it to where it's just tight. Actually, I think with this one, you just want to get it. Alright, I was able to get about 3/4. And take your plug here, plug there, plug it back in. As long as I get them going the right way here. There we go. And under the bonnet, or under the hood, is all set, taken care of. Now we can move over to the hydrostatic filters. Okay, everybody, so the next step here is you want to take your hydraulic filter off. So usually I would say with your new filter, make sure that the seal is wet. But with this is a race against time. You want to get this one off and this one on as fast as you can, because oil's just going to keep coming, and if you don't get on fast enough, you're going to drain all your oil. So with the oil dripping out of it, it'll be more than plenty to get the seal wet. Like I said, it's going to be a race against time. Make sure you got a bucket underneath the catch. Get our tool in here. Loosen it up a little bit so we can do it by hand. And this is my first time doing this, so bear with me because I'm probably going to miss. Get it done as fast as we can. And just make sure you don't cross thread it. And there we go. One down, one to go. Alright, everybody, so if you have a hydrostatic transmission like I do, you will also have a filter for just the drive. So same as the other side. From other videos I've seen, this one doesn't drip as much, but you still want to catch can, and you want to do this as fast as you can. So here we go. Alright, loose. Alright. All set with filter number 2. Let's go fill it up. Okay, so everybody, the next step here is to refill your hydraulic fluid. And at the bottom of the funnel you can see right here, that's where the fill is, and also your dipstick. This is the dipstick here, and got a built-in nice holder right there for it while you're loading. And that's the funnel I got. It's an 18-inch, fit in the hole pretty good, and it fits against the tank. So it's nice snug. It's not going to go anywhere while I try to fill it. Speaking of filling, if you think I'm going to hold this 5-gallon bucket in the air, try to fill it very slowly, you got another thing coming. So my plan is, I cleaned off one of my pans here. I'm going to put about half a gallon in that, and then transfer that into the funnel. That way I have a little more control over my pouring, and I can double check my height, and when I'm good and happy with it, I'll just pour the rest back into the bucket, call it a day. So that's how I'm going to do it, but when I get back, I will be done with this, and I'll be checking the dipstick. Alright folks, so lucky for me, this one didn't actually take too long. As you can see on the dipstick there, I'll turn it a couple times, maybe we'll get a better picture, but it's right at the fill mark, which is good. Put that back on, and what I didn't show you what I did is I took the side link off just to have easier access to it. It's not necessary, but I figured it's only a pin, it comes right off, get it done. So but yeah, that's all your fluids all done, and there's all the old filters off the tractor. Next step is going to be torquing all the wheels and torquing the front loader attachment. Okay everybody, so the next step we're going to do is check all the torque on all our wheels and the lug nuts, or lug bolts in this case. So the tools you're going to need is torque wrench itself, and for the front we need a 17mm socket, and for the rear is a 24 socket. And we'll go to our handy dandy book here and see if I can focus in here. Right here it says it wants 57 to 67 foot-pounds. We'll go right in the middle at 62. I got my torque wrench set for 62. And you just want to go until it clicks. And hopefully they just click and don't turn. You just want to go in a crisscross pattern. Oh, that one moved a little bit. It's a good thing we checked it. Alright, that's one side done. Move the other side here. And that's it for the front. Comes in focus. Tightening torque is 144 to 166, and my torque wrench only goes up to 150, so that's where we're going to set it at. Now, if you can see it or not, these bolts are moving just a tad, so it's a good thing we're doing this. Okay, on to the other side. Alright. I'm going to take this socket off. And we're going to change to a 19. And I don't have the specs right in front of me. But I looked up these bolts. And online they say they take 99 foot-pounds. So we'll set our torque wrench to 99. And what we're looking for are these bolts in here. You got 2 in here, and then if I can get in here, you have 4 bolts underneath. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. And so it's 6 bolts on each side. You want to make sure that those are all tight. We'll torque them down. There's actually another one underneath the hose here. And so the last thing you want is for a wheel to come off or your loader to come off. Like I said, I don't know how good this video is. First time I'm doing this on my head, so hopefully you can see everything I'm doing here. And you possibly saw that a couple of them moved. So it's a good thing we're doing this. And this is no way in fault of the manufacturer. It's just the way tractors are. These go through a lot of bumps, a lot of vibrations, a lot of use with your loader. These bolts are going to come loose. So it's good to check these, like I said, every 20 hours or while I'm doing the 50-hour service here. And that's it. Alright, one quick thing that I forgot to check while doing all this maintenance is this is something you do when the motor's cold. You want to take this off, make sure you're full of coolant, check your screen. It is right there. You can see mine's a little dirty, so I'm going to pull it out, clean it out. And how you do that is these 2 wing nuts up here. And it's actually 2 different pieces. So it looks like when I first did this, it was going to be impossible to take out, but it's not. It's 2 pieces. You take the right side out first, and then you slide the left side over and pull that out. Clean it out, you can put it back in. The other thing you want to check while you're up here is your air cleaner. And it's as easy as taking these clips off, pulling this out, and you can check your filter like that. Mine's pretty good shape. There's actually a secondary filter. That one's in good shape too, so it's a good thing. Don't have to buy a new one. And the other thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your battery terminals are nice and clean and tight. It's also a good idea to put some cleaner on them or some protective on them just so they don't corrode, because being out in the weather, it can get wet, and then wet is the enemy of anything electric. So Want to put some kind of protector on there. Make sure you're all good. So just wanted to mention that quick before we do the final video. Okay everybody, so that concludes doing the oil changes, all the oil filters, fuel filter, going over the air filter, the coolant, torquing the wheels, torquing your loader arm brackets. Not much to it, but a 50-hour service, highly recommend going through all that. And if you think of anything that I missed, leave it in the comments below and I'll be happy to go over it or be able to do it to my tractor. Speaking of my tractor, it's the Kioti ck3510se HST. This tractor's been a godsend to me. I used to have a Yanmar 226D with a 26 horsepower four-wheel drive, about the same size as this machine, but all I could do, it had a loader bucket on it, but all I could have on it was the bucket, and all I could do out back was simple up and down with the 3-point attachment and PTO drive. With this tractor I have the third function, so I can run a grapple in the front if I want to, and out back I have 4 ports for 2 hookups. As you can see in my previous video, I have the offset flare mower, and you need 2 levers to operate it, one to go side to side, one to go up and down. That's something I could not do with the Yanmar. Last year I probably had a total of 10 to 15 hours tops. This year, since February, I've already put 50 hours on this tractor. That's how much this tractor has done a lot of work for me. And most of the work I've done is either with the flare mower, with the grapple, or with the backhoe that I bought for this tractor. And those 3 attachments I could not do with the Yanmar. I can do them with this machine with ease. And for those that say, should I get a backhoe, should I not get a backhoe? Yes, they're very expensive, but for me, I'm always finding uses for it. And that's my top implement I have on this tractor. And I have the grapple on more than I have the bucket on. So for me, choosing this machine was the right machine at the right time. Yes, I looked at a John Deere. Yes, I looked at a Kubota. But for $10,000 less, I wanted to say, Kioti, let's give this a whirl. All the specs were right there, and let me tell you, this tractor has not failed me at all. I had 0 issues, knock on wood. Yeah, it's been a beautiful tractor. If you are out there in the market for one, definitely go take a look at a Kioti. Take it for a spin. Let the dealer show you everything this machine can do. And I promise you, if you buy one, whether it's a CK or you go down a mile to the CS or you go up to the DX or NX, you will not be disappointed. This is an awesome, touch-free, worry-free machine. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about the Kioti. Nothing but good things. I'm trying to, as I'm doing this video, I'm trying to think of a negative to throw at it. And honestly, folks, I cannot think of one negative comment. If there was one, the only thing I have is that when you go to hook up the loader, it is very tight. You have to be perfect. I'm not going to show you in the video, but I actually dinged the hood because I got too close on the left side while I was watching the right side. So when you go to hook up your loader, just be extra careful. But that's the only negative I have on this machine, honestly. It's been a beautiful machine. So, but yeah, that concludes this one. If you like what you see, hit that like. If you got a comment about what you saw, leave it in the description below. If you want to see more videos that I've made or previous videos, hit that subscribe button, because the summer ain't over yet, folks. I got a lot more work to do with this tractor, so a lot more filming for everybody out there. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Outdoor Adventures with the Meads.